Match day in Manchester as Newcastle United plays their hardest Premier League away match of the season as we take on the champions of the world, Manchester City. And what is now a huge game of football for us on paper. If Newcastle can go to City away tonight, compete on the pitch and stand toe-to-toe with the best that football has to offer, I think it's going to definitely show us where we are as a club now. Historically, Newcastle always loses at Manchester City, so if we are able to go there and get a result tonight, that is the start of a change for us. Secondly, historically, we actually, unlike the majority of teams that have came into the Champions League, Europa League and Conference League for the first time in such a long time, the majority of the time teams will always struggle in the league when they're playing European levels of competition as well. So for Newcastle, it's important for us to get points on the board earlier, and it's also important for us, once the Champions League matches begin, that we can compete on all front foots. However, unfortunately, it's been an absolute massive blunder by Amazon Prime today, as they actually released episode 3 and 4 of the documentary early. Now, normally that wouldn't honestly be that much of an issue now. Unfortunately, the content in one of the episodes, you've seen the title and thumbnail here, has been shown all over social media, and it's about Adidas. Now, it's already general knowledge that Castore, our current kit supplier, will leave at the end of the season. It's been rumoured that Adidas will play a part in that. It's believed that Adidas will come back in. They've been with Newcastle in the 90s and early 2000s. It's believed that once again the two of them will connect and Adidas will come into the football club. Quite literally, a documentary just shows you outright footage of it. So yeah, straight away for me, apologies to any of you guys. You feel like I've spoiled anything, you feel like I shouldn't be talking about this. For me, I've kind of got to do my job. Obviously, this has came online. All of a sudden, everyone's talking about it. For me, I just have to talk about it as a content creator. I mean, it's that simple. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Amazon Prime haven't meant to do that, and it's unfortunate as well, because I'm pretty sure Newcastle United would have had socials prepared in advance on a set date, and the footage just came out early. So all of a sudden now, Newcastle's kind of been shot in the back foot, and all this information is going across social media. But since thousands of people have already talked about it anyway, it's already been published all over the place. For me now, I guess I'm just joining onto that really. It's already came out. So yeah, Adidas will replace Castore next season, straight up now. The CEO, we had Peter Silverson, we had Darren Hughes, we had Amanda and Murder. They actually went to Adidas compound in Germany last season. They met with Adidas CEO, they sat down with him and they talked about Newcastle United. They wanted to get some form of deal done. And you can literally just see it all on the Amazon Prime documentary. They do show quite a bit of it, that's all I'm going to mention. I'm going to be any further if that want to be as kind of discreet as possible. But that's the main thing now. With Castore, to be honest, I know a lot of people can't stand Castore for whatever reason it may be, but I don't actually mind him too much. I mean, for one, I think the kits this season actually look quite nice. Yes, the supply can be an absolute nightmare at times, but they do seem to be at least trying to get as much out as possible. But the thing is, there's always a scene with Castore. Someone like Adidas is huge. Now, it's not just huge in terms of, well, for example, Adidas would actually pay Newcastle more money on a season basis than Castore. Adidas would also sell more shirts as well. Adidas as a company is global. So, for example, Newcastle can actually sell Newcastle shirts in places like America, Saudi Arabia. You got everywhere in world football. You can go to China. You can go anywhere and sell these shirts, and that's a big point for Newcastle to make. It's not just allowing us to sell more shirts. It's actually, you know, I guess on a commercial sense, it actually allows us to promote Newcastle United more, because more eyes we see Newcastle compared with Castore. Castore is just tiny compared to Adidas. So that was a big thing for us going over there. Now Newcastle are competing everywhere on the pitch. We had to compete our clubs behind the scenes as well. In terms of kit suppliers, we are miles off teams like Manchester City, teams like Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea. We're just nowhere near these teams. We have to be able to compete with the best teams in the Premier League in order for FFP for us to be able to splash more cash on players. Adidas will do this. They're very good at helping clubs out. Newcastle have done this in the best interest. Peter Silverstone had connections with Adidas at Arsenal before he came into Newcastle. Again, it's stuff that we as a club have been looking into for years now, and the confirmations came out. Next season, you'll see it. I'm looking forward to it now. As I mentioned in the intro, they connected with us in the 90s and early 2000s. Those kits are iconic. Adidas have done a real good job of memorising kits over the last 20-30 years. I mean, some of the kits that came up by Adidas are Newcastle's best ever kits. They're so iconic. I remember, for example, maybe when I go abroad to places, like the amount of Newcastle fans, well, not even just football fans abroad, that come up here and talk about the 90s, they talk about Adam Shearer, I mention these kits, to be wearing these kits. It's just such a huge thing for us to do, and Castore, we just can't do this under them. So it's just a bit of a stepping stone from Castore. We've done a great job on the mic. Actually, listen, we've done what they could. We're going to get rid of them now. We're then going to bring in Adidas, and all of a sudden now we can reach new levels. We can get to where we need to be. And you've seen it, this transfer window was, yeah, we've got a bit restricted with budgets. We had to bring in Lewis Hall on an obligation to buy me, and that we had to load him now. We've got to sign him obviously, but we had to bring him in on a loan deal just so we can complete this deal. That's just the problem with Newcastle. We've got to be able to compete with every single team, but on the FFP there's only so much we can do. There's only so much we can work with the kitty in the bank. So that was one important thing for us to do, which we've now done. Adidas is no joke. I mean, probably the best possible kit supplies you can get. And it was actually great to see ownership go across to Germany and to communicate with them and to get across their ideas that they want for a club. And it's going to be a healthy relationship for many more years to come. But this is huge. I can't stress how huge this is for a club. This is a big deal. In terms of deals since the ownerships came, and I know the Salah one was quite big, Noon was quite big, of course, the shirt sleeve sponsorship, but I think Adidas is where we can honestly start to get more going. You get a deal going with them, it's a bit of a butterfly effect that you continue to push on and to achieve the things that we want to achieve. But I just wanted to kind of say now in this video that, listen, it's going to happen. That's just the main thing. I don't want to try and go in too much detail about it because, again, I'm quite wary that the episodes weren't supposed to come out today. I'm quite wary that, well, I don't want to spoil you guys anything. I want you to kind of go on the episodes and enjoy for what they are. I don't want to just tell you this happens, because it spoils the idea. And obviously for Newcastle, they wouldn't have wanted this to go out anyway. But for me, I've got to do what I've seen in social media. It's came out, thousands of people have been talking about it. I've just had my say in it, I suppose. But yeah, Adidas to replace Castore, it's as big as it gets for any club. Adidas is a huge deal to be able to get us to places where we need to get to, sell the shirts worldwide. I've just been to America in the summer. You can actually sell shirts at the States of being. That's big for us, trying to build a connection with our global fan base, trying to make them feel united to the football club, even though there might be 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 miles away in Newcastle. We're still trying to connect to those fans, even comparing it to someone that lives next to Newcastle on the doorstep. They want to try and make sure that both of those fan bases can all experience the same club. They want to make sure everyone feels united, and that's definitely, I think Newcastle will push on for many more years to come. It's going to help us in the global revenue. It's going to help us with our streaming services. It's big. It's a big deal. And tonight we'll see on the pitch at the start of this season how can we compete now that we've had some money from the Champions League bonuses, some money from sponsorships last season. We are now slowly starting to build that pyramid. Let's see tonight how can we compete with the best of the best of the best. Manchester City, I can't wait for it. But let me know your thoughts down below anyway, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below on Adidas. Again, not ideal that it's came out in this situation. Newcastle definitely won't be happy with the way it's came out, but listen, it's big for us. It's huge. But I want to come across anyway and put this little video across before I actually end up heading over to the Yaka in a couple of hours. But I wish you all the best. Take care. See you all in the next one.